I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is the tragic shooting of Kentucky Judge Kevin Mullins by the local sheriff, Mickey Stines. It's a case that just doesn't make sense and has everyone wondering why. Here's the story. Sheriff Sean Mickey Stines was a pillar of Letcher County until September 19, 2024, when he walked into Judge Kevin Mullins' chambers and executed him in cold, shocking violence. Surveillance footage captured Stines firing 8 shots, even as Judge Mullins cowered behind his desk, sealing a betrayal that stunned their small Kentucky community. Stines abruptly surrendered, his reputation in ruins. In the days before the shooting, he appeared emotionally frayed and subdued during a deposition tied to a civil lawsuit accusing his deputy of courthouse sexual misconduct. Newly released video of the sheriff just after the shooting demonstrates some level of paranoia involving the sheriff and his family. Stines has pleaded not guilty and intends to pursue an insanity defense. Meanwhile, as the community reels, the sheriff faces a murder charge that may carry the death penalty. A grim fall from grace. This case, we're learning a lot from it because we are getting new video and new interviews and really peeling back the layers of what happened here. I'm going to show you a video in just a second, and I want to set this video up first. This video takes place 13 minutes before the shooting. The video is from the judge's chambers, and like all the other videos from the judge's chambers, it's video only. There is no audio, so we can see what is happening, but we don't hear what is happening. This is at 2:39 p.m. Take a look. There's people in the judge's chambers, and the sheriff walks in. He's kind of in the doorway there, and it looks like he's motioning for some folks to get up. So there's 4 other folks in the judge's chambers. It's just another day where they're kind of chewing the fat, talking about things, and now the sheriff has asked everyone to leave, and then the sheriff sits down alone with the judge in the chambers, and the conversation starts. And we take a look at the sheriff and his posture there, and the posture of the judge as well. Once again, this is 13 minutes beforehand. This is what is happening prior to the sheriff then making the fatal decision to take the life of Judge Mullins. And you get an idea of what's happening by watching it, but we don't have the audio. And obviously there's only one person who at this point seemingly knows exactly what was said in that conversation, because the other one is dead. But right there, that's what this trial is now going to be about. And it brings us to the first question in our investigation tonight. What happened before the shooting? What is going on here? How does the sheriff end up in there alone with the judge? And what is taking place? Here to help answer that question is Elizabeth Jones. She is the host of Hillbilly Crime on YouTube. She's joining us on the phone, but she has been deep into the facts of this case and this community. Also joining us, trial attorney, former police lieutenant Rick King. Rick, great to see you as well. Before we start answering this question, what I want to do is play some of the new video that we have, and these are interviews with witnesses from the scene. So let's take a look and a listen to some of what people said. We saw them on the video, but here's what they said afterwards.
I got to the courthouse today. Mickey came in and Kevin was in a Zoom meeting. And I was sitting in the jury room talking to them. He came in, he said, I need to talk to Kevin, and someone said he's in a Zoom meeting, and he had a file in his hand, and he seemed upset then. So I don't know if he was mad about something in that file, or maybe they had a disagreement about that. I mean, he was like adamant he needed to talk to Kevin then, and he had his file in his hand, so I don't know if that had anything to do with anything.
Okay.
But it was something about domestic violence. Something in the files about domestic violence. I don't know if it was someone he knew and he wasn't happy about what Kevin said. I don't know. We all went to lunch together today. Mickey and Kevin, Christy, Tim, Michael Clark. We had a street fight, and Mickey acted really strange today. I've been around him a lot. He's always a real fun, cut up, easy come guy, and he acted strange at lunch. And I don't know if this matters, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because after it's odd to me. He leaned back in his chair at lunch, and they were talking about re-election. He said, I'll never make it to the next election. Thought that was odd when he said it. Didn't really know what he meant by that.
Mickey did?
Mm-hmm. And he was, leaning back, his gun was right in front, and Michael Clark looked over and he said, it's an awful big gun you got there. He said, yeah. He said, is it hot? And he said, oh, I don't know. He said, it looks like you filed the numbers off of it, which was odd then, but now I'm kind of wondering if it was in fact a gun that had the numbers filed off. We just sat down, we were talking, and Mickey walked in, and he just had a weird look on his face, like he was just, he just looked odd. I thought he looked odd, maybe because I know his normal actions. Oh, he just acted odd all day today. And he walked in, and in a really hateful voice, he said, well, I need to get out of here, I need to talk to Kevin in private. And we all just kind of looked at each other, because it's Kevin's office, so it was odd to me that he was telling people to get out of Kevin's office.
Mickey seemed odd. He just seemed off. Like, what do you normally say? I don't know. There's just something that just didn't seem right.
Got something on your mind.
Or something. He wasn't present, if that makes sense. Something was just off. It was odd. He had his gun on him, and Michael made a comment about something they're giving a hard time about his gun being small, and then there's a piece of paper that was taped to Dotson's office. He's like, I need you to get that paper. He's like, no, man. So it was just odd. He come in and said, all right, everybody needs to leave, but the tone, the meter was changed, tone was changed.
Judge is my best friend.
What else now?
Judge is my best friend. We all had lunch together at the street fight. And he did tell Judge he needed to talk to him when he got back. But after we'd been in court, in the judge's office, and Mickey walked in and told us to all get out. We need to talk. He said, just y'all get out. I don't know if that worked. But it was odd the way he did it. It wasn't normal Mickey. They always seem to be buddies. I mean, we all kick and bicker at each other all the time, but it's like fun, just workplace. They always have been buddies.
Unbelievable. Let's bring back in our guest. Elizabeth Jones, what are your thoughts here, hearing from some of the witnesses, the folks who were in the judge's chambers 13 minutes before all this happened, called out by Sheriff Mickey Stines?
Well, thank you for having me, Vinnie. I really think that we are watching Mickey confront the judge for something. We still don't know exactly what that confrontation was about. But now I've heard rumors of, well, I don't know if it's rumors or not, but I've heard people give me their account of what happened at lunch that day. And that witness telling about the numbers being filed off of that weapon kind of falls right in line with what I was told happened at that lunch that day.
Okay, you can't leave us hanging there, Elizabeth. What do the numbers filed off of the weapon have to do with the discussion at lunch?
Well, what I was told was that one of the court security officers that had went to lunch with him that day, that they were all kind of just, people seemed to be awful confused. But I was told that Mickey, now I haven't confirmed it, I've not seen no video of it, but what I was told was that Mickey disarmed one of his court security officers, and that he took his gun and looked at it and made the comments about how dirty it was, and then he pulled his out and made the comments about how dirty his was, and that whenever he went to hand it back to his court security officer, the court security officer caught it and said, "That's not my gun. You've got my gun. You need to give it back," you know. And so now that's what I was told happened at lunch. But like I said, I haven't confirmed that.
Right, we haven't had the trial yet. I mean, that's the stuff that's got to come out at trial if it's true.
Yeah.
Rick King, what do you think of what we saw in the video and what the witnesses said about what they observed about Sheriff Mickey Stines? It seemed like he was calling everyone to get out of there.
Mm-hmm. But first of all, what I really thought was as he called people to get out, first he closed the door, and then he told them to get out. Usually you would open the door and tell them to get out, but he closed it. So and not being able to hear and the tone that he used and what he said, that makes a difference to me. And I'm not, what I captured from all that was everybody said, and I wrote it down, he was odd, not normal. It was odd. Something was odd about Mickey that day. And his behavior as he sits here and how he, and people have said it, I guess there appears to be some sort of confrontation. However, we just don't know what it is or what that confrontation meant or what Mickey was going through at that particular time.
You know, what's interesting, as we watch the sheriff initially sit down there, the judge, his demeanor doesn't change.
No.
So it doesn't seem from tone or anything else that it impacts the judge. The judge looks like he's literally holding court, right? He's got the cigarette going, he's talking to everybody, they're all on the other side. And then watch, Mickey is calling everybody out. He closed the door, as you said, which is really unusual, unless there's more people outside that he doesn't want them to hear what's happening. Mm-hmm. But as they leave, watch the judge. The judge is seemingly cool as a cucumber here. Like, it doesn't seem like there's any panic from him as well, which is interesting. Okay, Elizabeth Jones, Rick King staying with us. Coming up next, we're going to try to answer the question that Rick King brought up. Why was the sheriff a little off?
Things were weird today. This morning, I don't even know actually who else involved, honestly, but this morning, Mickey came over and he talked about Judge that wouldn't need to go, whatever. He just seemed a little off. But it was just like a ball back and forth, walking around.
Matriarch of the Adelson family gets arrested.
Terrible. Donna Adelson is facing charges of murder, the death of her former son-in-law, Dan Markell.
Prosecutors say a bitter child custody battle was the motive for the murder-for-hire plot.
Now that Donna has turned into a defendant, what's next for the Adelson clan?
Now that the ship is really sinking fast, blood doesn't matter that much.
The Matriarch Mastermind murder trial. Live coverage begins this August on Court TV.
I heard gunshots and I just jumped up and ran. I ran out as fast as I could. I came to this building and locked myself in. Honestly, at first I thought something fell over, but then it continued. Like, I heard the very first one. The first two were like right back to back. With that first one, I thought something had failed, but then I immediately heard the second one and I ran.
In this case, we have almost everything. Almost everything is captured. Witnesses like that who hear the gunshots. We've got eyewitnesses who are in the judge's chambers 13 minutes before the shooting. Then it is just the judge and the sheriff, and that is on video as well. We've seen the shooting already. What we don't have is the audio of those moments just before. And that may be what the case is entirely about, trying to uncover what's going on in the sheriff's mind. What is he saying? What is he doing? Let's take a listen to another witness talk about those moments just before.
Things were weird today. this morning, I don't even know actually who else involved, honestly, but this morning, Mickey came over, they didn't talk about Judge with an EBO, whatever, he just seemed a little off.
He's wanting to get the judge to sign an EPO?
No, somebody was coming to draw the warden, and he needed to ask questions about it or something.
Okay.
But he was just like walking back and forth, walking around. He came back for lunch. The thing I thought was odd was whenever he came back, he had his cut on his side.
The sheriff did?
It's just in normal clothes today. So I didn't even know if he was working, honestly. And then, because he didn't have it when he was first there. But then he came back with it.
A lot of similar observations about the demeanor of the sheriff. There she's talking about the gun as well. But that brings us to the next question in our investigation, which is, why was the sheriff, quote, a little off? People were observing this. Helping us with our investigation, Elizabeth Jones. She's on the phone. And Rick King. Let's take a listen. I want you to listen to this, Rick, because this is really significant. Jeremy Bartley, the attorney for the sheriff, spoke to us on our program. We did an entire hour with him. Take a listen to what he said.
Just a few days prior was this deposition. And I think in the week prior to and the week of the deposition, lots of people noticed that Mickey had become more increasingly paranoid, that he became sleepless, had gone nights without sleep. And there was an overwhelming amount of pressure on him, some internal, but we believe there were external pressures as well. And I think there was a lot of interest by those people who populated the judge's chambers, for whatever reason, about what Mickey might say in those depositions.
All right, Rick, what are your thoughts here about why the sheriff's a little off? He's doing these depositions. Everyone's interested in what he's saying about this real controversy of these sexual assaults of inmates that were taking place in the judge's chambers.
I mean, you can only speculate what Mickey might have been feeling as a result of all these allegations against his deputies and possibly other people who we really don't know at this point. And so I think that listening to his attorney describe what was going on in the days leading up to this shooting is kind of an insight into maybe the pressure that Mickey was under. And I think that it's possible that, you know, those whatever questions he couldn't answer or didn't want to answer was being pressured not to answer were building up on him to describe him as sleepless and he's being odd and he's pacing. And I also wonder, because on one of your previous shows, Vinny, I watched where when he left the judge's chambers the first time, everybody went left and he went right toward the sheriff's office. I think Elizabeth shared with us. And I wonder if that's when he went and armed himself, because they said that he didn't have it before that. So I thought about that too.
This is so baffling. Elizabeth Jones, your thoughts about why the sheriff was a little off? That's the way everyone's describing him.
I think that was a wonderful point that Mr. King just made, that he might have went back to the sheriff's department to arm himself at that point in time, if the witness said he didn't have it earlier. I think that we are looking at a lot bigger or a larger network of criminal activity in this county, and I don't even think it's in the county. We just had last week a Kentucky State police officer that was indicted on a lot of really bad accusations and charges. And from what we see in this case with the KSP, the accusations go all the way to the very top man at the KSP. So, you know, we can doubt all we want about what has been happening in this case, but I think we obviously see that he's afraid.
Let me ask you, Rick, how important will that be at trial whether he's afraid legitimately or if he's afraid in some sort of paranoia state of mind.
So, interestingly enough, in Kentucky, all the defendant has to do is provide credible evidence that he was insane. And that credible evidence, just as any evidence that if they believed it, could say that he was suffering from insanity. It's up to the state or the Commonwealth at that point to prove that he was sane. So when you listen to all these comments about he was odd, he was not off, he was the pressures, he was sleepiness, he was concerned, saying things like his wife and daughter were going to be kidnapped, all those things are going to come into play. So I think all of this is important. All of those behaviors that they identified as odd from Mickey that day.
Elizabeth, we have about 25 seconds left here. What are your thoughts locally? What is happening now? What is the general perception right now of the public of Sheriff Mickey Stines?
Well, there has been a real backlash for anybody who really came out publicly and supported Mickey. So I think that that noise, the public support of him has kind of drizzled some because of the fear of retaliation and stuff with them, even as his supporters. So I think that there's a lot of silent support for him now, and we're just going to have to wait and see. You know, we still don't have a justifiable reason for why he did this, you know, and I don't mean that there's any real justification for it.
No, but an explanation is really what you're talking about, like an explanation that makes some level of sense. Elizabeth Jones, Hillbilly Crime on YouTube. Check it out, folks. Rick King, great to have you as well. Thank you so much. Up next, what is the sheriff's behavior revealing? I'm Vinnie Politan. We continue our investigation of the shooting of Kentucky Judge Kevin Mullins by Sheriff Mickey Stines. Two men sworn to uphold the law and the Constitution, but now one is dead and the other is facing murder charges. Here's the story. On a quiet September afternoon in 2024, the Letcher County Courthouse became the scene of a chilling betrayal. Judge Kevin Mullins, a respected figure, father, and pillar of Eastern Kentucky justice, was shot and killed in his own chambers by Sheriff Sean Mickey Stines, a man he once mentored. The attack was swift, violent, and unthinkable. Mullins was struck multiple times, collapsing behind his desk. News of his death rippled through the community like a shockwave. Court staff wept openly. Stines surrendered moments later, stunned and trembling. What drove the sheriff to such darkness remains tangled in whispers of courthouse corruption, personal grievances, and fear. But the loss was irreversible. Judge Mullins, known for his steady hand and fairness, died where he upheld the law for decades. His own chambers turned into a scene of devastation and sorrow. It's a baffling case, but we're learning more and more now as information has come out, and obviously the videos extremely revealing, especially now the body cam videos where we get to see and hear Sheriff Mickey Stines just moments after the shooting. This you usually don't get. The killer moments after the killing? Let's take a look.
You okay? Okay.
Why are you going to transport me in a vehicle for?
Probably not to put you in Letcher County Jail. I mean, why? Just probably because, I don't know though. I don't know if that's happening.
I don't mind to be down there.
You don't mind to be down there?
They'll put me in a
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that, you know. I have to talk to, see what the logistics is down there.
I got to get put in a vehicle and go outside.
Well, yeah, I understand why you're worried, but at the same time, you know how it is with something like this. We're going to be worried about you in the jail down here with local people.
Right now, I'm alive and well, no weapons on me. Okay. So, if I leave this building, I won't draw another breath.
Read him Miranda before you go anymore.
Well, I'm going to get in there.
They're all locked. You can get away.
Okay, well, Mickey, you know Miranda. I'm going to read it to you here real fast.
Miranda.
The Miranda warning.
What is that?
For your rights before you talk to me.
If we go down to the jail and cameras and stuff at the jail, I don't want to go out and get in the Ledger County jail. I don't want to go out and get in the vehicle, guys. No offense.
Well,
At some point you have to do that.
We'll figure something out.
I understand it. How about a room right here for right now?
Yeah, we're just doing a room right here. My body cam's.
No.
Mickey, you know me. I would never do anything to you. Or is that what you're worried?
Is that officer escort? Because at some point you're leaving this building.
Is that what you're worried about?
I want as many officers as you can get to take me somewhere.
Well, we can
downstairs to the jail here.
We can make that.
Downstairs to the jail here.
All right. This video of Sheriff Mickey Stines brings us to the next question in our investigation. It's about the way he's acting. What is the sheriff's behavior revealing in the moments just after the shooting? Here to help answer that question, clinical and forensic neuropsychologist, Dr. Judy Ho. She's also the author of the book, The New Rules of Attachment. Also joining us, attorney Ned Pillersdorf, who is representing the woman who is suing Sean Stines, Sheriff Mickey Stines. Also, that deposition that we've been talking about now for months, Ned's firm doing that deposition that day. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it. I'll start with you, Dr. Judy Ho. What is the sheriff's behavior revealing to you from this video?
Well, Vinny, he's certainly restless. You can see in his body language that he's restless. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to get his bearings, what's happening with these colleagues and friends who are speaking to him. There seems to be some realization that there's going to be some consequences down the line, because it also sounds like he's negotiating about what's going to happen next and where they can go. And if he's going to be incarcerated, can it be here locally, just right here in this building? I mean, he knows the ins and outs. It even sounds like his colleague is a little baffled. They're trying to be really nice to him, really gentle with him, almost trying to calm him down, because he definitely seems really stressed. But at the same time, when you look at his body language, he's kind of oscillating between that and restlessness, and then almost leaning back, almost like not totally appreciating exactly what's going on.
Ned, let's take a look at another piece of this video. Again, this is just moments after the shooting as Sheriff Mickey Stines is being interviewed by someone who obviously knows him very well.
I just want to see my daughter.
Is she 18? How old is she? If your wife's out there with her, if she ain't 18, we can ask if that's okay. But if she's 18, we just ask your daughter. So that's what I'm getting at. If she's not 18, we have to ask your wife. Do you think they're outside?
Shauna and Christine said they was on their way. Let me talk to them too.
You want to go ask them about it? Yeah.
Hit that button right there. Let me.
But this is recorded. His is recorded.
Guys, come on now. Be fair to me now. Mickey, we're not being unfair to you.
You want another drink of water?
Yeah, now be fair to me, guys. Y'all gonna kill me.
Mickey, I'm not going to kill you.
Come on, man.
Mickey, we have never had one bad word to each other. Never.
You're going to kill me.
Never in our lives.
You know you are.
I'll be honest, Mickey. You don't seem like you normally do when I speak to you.
I'm in the handcuffs, man.
Well, no, not just that. Not just that. You
just want y'all to be fair to me.
Yeah, you see it. You know I'm going to be fair to you. But you do seem off compared to how you normally interact with me. Like something's going on. Like, has anything else been going on the last few weeks? Do you take like medicine for anything? Or you any type of illness or anything?
Just be fair to me.
I ain't going to do anything unfair.
On me, man, and kill me now.
Nobody's going to kill you. We ain't going to let nobody kill you for court.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just come over. We had lunch together at street side.
Who did?
Several people.
Who all had lunch?
All right, Ned, there's a lot to take in from this video from different perspectives, but from your perspective, what is this behavior by Sheriff Mickey Stines revealing to you, and what is the significance of it?
Two things. One, he is truly in some sort of dissociative state, paranoid, or it's an Academy Award performance. Logically, he would be concerned of his safety. Letcher's a small county. He killed the judge. There's a close relationship between the state police who he's talking to and the judge and himself. And I assume he's fearful. He knows he just killed the judge and there might be repercussions. On the other hand, there's some real dissociative state here, paranoia. The fact that he didn't know what Miranda was is baffling. I mean, he's a sheriff. He knows what Miranda is. And he may be faking, or there may be something very mentally unbalanced going on.
Dr. Judy Ho, what are your thoughts about, he repeats the line, just be fair to me, just be fair to me. He doesn't think he's going to make it. How can you tell if there is legitimate paranoia going on versus a legitimate threat versus someone play acting?
Right. I think that that's really hard, and everyone's trying to piece this together the best that they can. I think it's interesting that his colleague commented that he's clearly in a different state than he's used to, meaning that they've had multiple interactions before. They know how he usually and generally acts, and he's certainly acting different in this scenario. I think another piece of this that's really important is the fact that he kept saying over and over again whether or not someone was going to come after him, someone was going to kill him. So that would suggest that there was some type of paranoid process going on, perhaps, not just because he might be afraid of what's going on, because there's some realization that he just killed a judge, a colleague, a friend, but there's also this other layer, that he thinks someone's coming after him. And oftentimes the most common paranoid types of beliefs are about somebody coming after you, somebody wanting to harm you, which then leads that person under psychosis to act in very severe and different ways.
Wow. Ned, let me ask you, we've talked a lot about this through the months, right? How surprised are you at what you are seeing in watching Sheriff Mickey Stines moments after the shooting here?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, this is an astonishing event. I mean, the sheriff walks in and shoots the judge. Has that ever happened in history? There's something very strange going on. The real question is, what was his real motive? And I guess after the shooting, he's in a truly dissociative, paranoid state, or, I know the prosecutor's going to say this is an Academy Award performance.
All right, Ned and Dr. Judy Ho are going to stay with us. Still to come. Did the sheriff think he was being set up?
Just be fair, didn't it? Does it open? Come on.
Matriarch of the Adelson family gets arrested.
Donna Adelson is facing charges of murder, the death of her former son-in-law, Dan Markell.
Prosecutors say a bitter child custody battle was the motive for the murder-for-hire plot.
Now that Donna has turned into a defendant, what's next for the Adelson clan?
Now that the ship is really sinking fast, blood doesn't matter that much.
The Matriarch Mastermind murder trial. Live coverage begins this August on Court TV.
So, Mickey, was this anything to do with your daughter? Just a yes or no? I want to ask one last time. Is there anything you want? Was this anything to do with your family? Depending on what kind of information comes out, always can change how investigations are worked. You know what I mean?
It's interesting. Sheriff Mickey Stines doesn't really answer any questions directly connected to the shooting. Like, he's not answering those, but he is talking, he is communicating, but a lot of it is about his concerns, including when he gets brought into the Sally Port to be transported. Take a look.
What is it? There's nobody in there. Come on, Nick. Come on now. Come on. Here. Hop in here. Come on now, guys. We're not doing that here. Just be fair to me. Those are open. Hey, ain't nobody there. Come on. You're all right, mate. Leave me in here and let me down. No, it's hot in here. We're going to get out here. Come on. Slide on in. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Keep going. I know it's tight. Keep sliding. No, come on, get in there. We're getting out here. We're all getting ready to leave. Slide sideways if you have to. Come on now. There you go. Put in. We're being good to you, bro. Come on now, guys. Please don't do this to me. You want to say anything else or anything? If so, we'll go in there and sit down. If not, that's okay.
If you want to talk to him, we got a room for you to go in if you want to talk to him.
Yeah. I know, it ain't comfortable.
I just don't want nobody to hurt you.
Nobody's going to hurt you.
Did you see how he made them open the doors and he's looking in? He's like afraid to get into the vehicle to be transported. Brings us to the next question in our investigation tonight. Did the sheriff think he was being set up? Did he think he was going to get inside that car and that was going to be it? Helping us with our investigation, Dr. Judy Ho and attorney Ned Pillersdorf. Okay. Let me ask you, Ned, do you think he thought, like that moment, he was going to be taken out?
Clearly, he's exhibiting paranoid features. You know, paranoia is real. It's a real disease where you have irrational beliefs. You know, but what's stunning, one would assume the sheriff who's been in the criminal justice system, the first words out of his mouth is, I don't want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to a lawyer. So this is all just baffling. You know, once again, the prosecutor is going to say, well, he was trying to get better treatment in the jail. These are kind of his buddies. But on the other hand, we see some true paranoia here. And that may well be what was going on.
Dr. Judy Ho, it was very, to me, shocking. Like, he's having them open the back door. He wants to look in. He's afraid to get into the car to be transported.
Right. And when somebody is in a paranoid state, if indeed that was the state that he was in, their behaviors are not really going to make sense to people who are in their logical mind, who are not exhibiting paranoia themselves, because anything and everything could be a problem. Anything and everything could be a lurking danger that they have to watch out for. And if that was truly the state that he was in, his thoughts are probably very disorganized. That's probably why we're seeing him almost coming in and out of a more fluid consciousness where he kind of seems to make sense and seems to know about the law. And then the next minute, he's forgetting about what Miranda rights are, as Ned pointed out in the last segment, and looking around, darting around, thinking something horrible is about to happen to him, aside from, of course, the true and real consequences of what is happening in this scenario, which is that he shot and killed his friend and colleague and a previous mentor, and there's going to be consequences to that. But this is above and beyond that recognition that that consequence is coming, that something is lurking in addition to that.
Let me ask you, Ned, based on what you've seen and what we've shown folks tonight in these videos, how receptive do you think a Kentucky jury will be to a defense, a mental disease or defect defense, based upon this behavior that we're seeing and the circumstances surrounding it, which was the incredible controversy involving what else was happening in the judge's chambers, which is the subject of that civil lawsuit that your firm is involved in?
The way Kentucky law works, the jury will be asked, we call it the subjective test. The jury would be asked, what do you think his state of mind was? I don't, he's represented by fine defense counsel. I would never say the word insanity. I think the eventual defense in this case will be some sort of justification that Judge Mullins was engaged in some behavior that, frankly, he couldn't get around. He was appalled. But there also is, as we've talked about tonight, after the event, he lapsed into some sort of paranoid state, or perhaps he was acting, we don't know. So that's where I kind of see this trial going. Eventually there's going to be a trial, and I can see the prosecutor saying this was all an act, and I can see the defense really, I guess, trying to sully the reputation of Judge Mullins based on his defense lawyer's comments. I think that's where he's going.
Yeah, I agree. Dr. Judy Ho, have you ever seen instances where someone suffers from some level of paranoia, but it's grounded in a real situation, but maybe the level of danger or peril is exaggerated and sort of snowballs on the subject?
Vinny, that happens quite often. It's kind of an exaggeration of other concerns that they may be having, materials they're reading, people they're talking to, but it's just a gross exaggeration of reality, which means that it's still at the base a type of delusion. But delusions don't necessarily come out of thin air. Oftentimes they are grounded in something that is related or feels like a threat. That certainly can be possible. I think that there's maybe some room here to say, well, if he was in that kind of state, then what does this mean if he is going to be found to be guilty? Does that mean he receives treatment? Does that mean some other road? But I also see some semblances, at least in these videos, that he may have known right from wrong. And I know that that is a big part of this insanity plea, is that you literally are so paranoid and so out of touch with reality, you might not even know right from wrong. But I feel like in these clips you've showed us, Vinny, there's actually some hints that he knew what he did was wrong, that he knew he was going to pay some kind of consequence for his actions.
We are out of time. Dr. Judy Ho, Ned Pillersdorf, great to have you on the program. We'll see you again really, really soon. This case is not a whodunit. We have crystal clear video of the shooting. It is the sheriff shooting the judge. But the video has no audio. And in this case, that may be the most important piece of evidence, as it may reveal why the sheriff shot the judge. But because it doesn't exist, the jury will have to pay close attention to what the sheriff said afterwards to answer their questions. We'll keep digging for answers, though, as the investigation continues.